And good afternoon. This is Woody Collins, and I'm with Congo Helping Hands. And today we are talking about Congo. And our subject today is ripped from the headlines. That is ripped from the headlines. So it's a juicy but sad story of what's going on in the Congo. So this week was reported both the World Food Program, the WFP, and the FAO, which is the Food and Agriculture Organization, estimated that 27.3 million Congolese are suffering from acute food and insecurity and also hunger. And if you figure out the population of the Congo, that's about 1 in 3. 1 in 3 people. Uh, the areas they said this is, it's not over the whole country, but there is two main areas. One is the big area, which is the Eastern Congo, which has traditionally been an unstable area. That's the North and South Kivu. Then you got north of there, you have the Tori province, and then down to the south, you have the Tanganyika uh, province. And the other area is in the area that we work in primarily is the Kasai regions. And that's 3 provinces over there, Kasai, Kasai Central, and Kasai Oriental. So those are the areas where the hunger is being most severe. And they have rated this on the Integrated Food Security Process classification, the IPC, and that has 3 different levels. Number one is the acute food insecurity, where people basically don't have a way that they're going to get food and they are in the risk of definitely being starved. Then you have acute food insecurity. I'm sorry, chronic food insecurity. Chronic is because of something that's going on. Uh, they are up and down, and it's kind of like a not acute problem, but it's a problem where if help is not received, that they could revert to an acute problem. And finally, you have acute malnutrition, where people are not just they're eating, but they're not getting enough nutrition to support their bodily functions, and so that you see children and adults wasting away. So, as I said, that is basically in 2 areas of the Congo: the eastern area, which not only has a new outbreak of Ebola, but then it's still, like most of the world, it's still fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. And so, and then you got all the instability. Just last month, the month before last, there was the Italian uh, ambassador who was out accompanying some of their agencies delivering food, and he was ambushed and was killed. You had also uh, the, the attacks on different areas by militia groups, and also the the United States uh, embassy in Kinshasa has repeatedly over the last week put out that they did not want Americans going to that area because it was really unstable. So it's an unstable area, and that's the primary cause of their acute food insecurity. Now, in the Kasai, we have some insecurity there with food, and we also have some civil insecurity. Last week, there was also a deadly outbreak between 2 tribes up in the north of the Kasai, and they were fighting over or resources, and therefore a number of them was killed, and we expect that uh, that may come and go quite frequently. So I think most of the area of the Kasai is in what we would call a chronic food insecurity, meaning say it's going to come up and go down, and also acute malnutrition, where people are just not, they're eating, but they're not getting enough food. So it may not be as worse, but when you think of 27 million people in the Congo that they estimate, and 27 million people is, when you count it, that is a third of the population. So that's 1 out of 3 people. But when you confine it to those two areas and not the whole country, you can probably see that there is uh, the rate of people who are suffering from hunger and food insecurity is probably in the 50 to 60%, which is basically 1 out of 2 people. That's half the people. So really suffering even more than that in some areas. So that's something we're going to have to look at. I did notice that the Food and Agriculture Organization, the FAO, had put out that were in the process of they were in the process of helping the agricultural sector. And so that's one of the things that we're going to be doing. So we're going to have to see what they're doing, either to learn from them, mimic what they're doing, because they probably won't be going to all the sectors that need it. So we'll have to see what they're doing, what they're not doing, and try to bring about some awareness and improvement in the food production, both with cattle and grain crops and stuff like that. So that's what the story was, ripped from the headlines this week, that a third of the Congolese people are suffering from acute hunger and food insecurity. So that's going to be our report for today. Thank you all for stopping by. And if you have any questions, please drop those in the comment section. And also, if you have uh, any other topics that you want to cover, please drop those in the section also. And finally, let's get this pandemic under control by washing our hands, socially distance ourselves, and wear our masks. And especially for the people here in the United States, if you can get a vaccination, please consider getting it, and so that we can get this pandemic under control. Thank you all. And finally, like, subscribe, and share this content if you find it being useful. Thank you so much, and we will talk with you later. So take care and be good, and we will see you tomorrow at the same time, 3 o'clock.